Mm, Yeah, very good morning and welcome to all of you. This is a class on Patanjali Yoga Sutras. And Patanjali Yoga Sutras, as you all might have heard about it, is a very important document of yoga from India. It is a collection of all yogic knowledge right from the time of Rig Veda through the various Vedas, through the various Upanishads, through Mahabharata, through the Sankhya philosophy, till the time of Maharishi Patanjali, till the time of Maharishi Patanjali. Maharishi Patanjali was a sage who, about 2,400 years back, did this work of collecting the core of yogic knowledge and he presented it in the form of yogic sutras. Sutra means a simple sentence, but this sentence is a very concise sentence. It is called an aphorism. It is made up of as many few words as possible, and each word carries a special meaning by itself. So these words are placed next to each other, and it is like a thread which goes through the beads of a mala, beads of a necklace. So that is why the word sutra has been used. So in 196 sutras, if you actually look at it, these 196 sutras can be written on probably two A4 size pages. In these two A4 size pages, the entire knowledge of yoga is given. He has written it in the form of four chapters, four padas, as he calls it. The first pada is called the Samadhi pad. The second is sadhana. The third is on siddhis. It's called the Vibhuti Pada. And the fourth is on liberation, mukti, which is called the Kevalya Pada. So any person, any ordinary individual can start from zero knowledge of yoga and go all the way up to the highest samadhi through the process of sadhana, which is thought, achieve the siddhis which have been mentioned, and achieve liberation from the cycle of birth and death. So, absolute independence, it is called. You become free from nature, you become free from Prakriti. So, all is possible in simply studying and practicing 196 sutras of Patanjali. That is the beauty of the whole thing, you know. And it is not a religious text, it is a text which is which does not give any priority to the Hindu religion. It does not talk about Shiva, Krishna, Ram. No. The only thing it does is it brings in the concept of God. God is called as Ishwara. And this God is not the creator God. This God is a God who has no karmic record, who has no sanskaric record, who is not facing any ignorance, who has no ego, who is not attracted towards anything, who is not repelled by anything, and who is eternal. He has always been there. Second, this God has been defined as having all the knowledge. So you may be a yogi of a very high order, the highest order, but your knowledge will always remain limited when you compare your knowledge with the knowledge of Ishvara. The knowledge of Ishvara is the highest knowledge. And third, this Ishvara, who is eternal, who has the highest knowledge, is the Guru, is the Guru of our ancestors, is the Guru of the ancients. So he has always been the Guru. So what it means is he is also the Guru for you. So now you have a person who is not actually the creator, but has always been here, who is not tainted by karma, who is not tainted by any memories, any sanskaras, who is not limited by ego, who is not attracted by anything, who is not repelled by anything, who is not wanting to live, who is all knowledgeable, and who is the teacher of all. So, how is he represented? Patanjali says Ishvara is represented by the symbol Om. And why by the symbol Om? Om, if you look in the Upanishads, Om, if you look in the Manduka Upanishad, Om has been defined as something which goes beyond the conscious mind, which goes beyond the subconscious mind, which goes beyond the universal mind. How does it go? The word Om, the sound Om, is actually made up of three sounds: U, and Ma. A, the first sound, represents the state of wakefulness, the state of awareness when we are awake and doing our work in the world. So, A represents that state. U represents the state when we are sleeping and dreaming, the dream state of sleep. And Ma represents the deep sleep, when we are unconscious, when we have no awareness about who we are, where we are, and what we are doing. Now, this is these three together, these three states together form the Om. So we are always in one of these three states. We are either aware, or we are in dream sleep, or we are in deep sleep. But the Om sound is not said alone. It is repeated. Usko japa jata hai. There is a japa there. And when you do a japa there, that means between the first Om and the second Om, there is a gap. There is silence. In that silence, you are actually existing in that state of Ishvara, in that state of nothingness, in that state of silence, in that state of Om. That state is beyond the conscious mind, beyond the subconscious mind, beyond the universal mind. So you are beyond the universe now. So when you are beyond the universe, where are you? You are out of the universe. So when you are out of the universe, that is where Ishvara is. Ishvara is not affected by the universe. Ishvara is independent of the universe. Ishvara does not come out of the universe. Ishvara does not die in the universe. Ishvara remains. Universe may come, universe will go. Many universes come, many universes go. There is a cycle of universes. But the Ishvara always remains. The knowledge in the universe is always limited. Depending on the time and space you occupy, you have that knowledge. But once when you are out of the universe, you are beyond the universe. Your knowledge is beyond the limits of the universe. Your knowledge is complete. That is why the Ishvara has complete knowledge, beyond what the highest yogi might have. Because the highest yogi might have omniscience, the highest yogi might have a lot of knowledge, but he is even then in the universe. So that universe is creating a limitation for his knowledge. But when he comes to the state which is beyond the universe, in that state only the Ishvara resides, then that knowledge is absolute. That knowledge is complete. And when I, as an individual, do japa, do practice, do recitation, do chanting of the mantra Om, I am in all awareness telling myself that my conscious mind, my subconscious mind, my universal mind, and the mind beyond the universe is where the Ishvara lies. So I am actually running through these states of minds. So my awareness increases. My awareness of the conscious state of mind increases. My awareness of the subconscious state of mind increases, my awareness of the unconscious state of mind increases. I become always aware as and as I keep on practicing, as and as I keep on doing the japa of Om. I keep on reaching a higher and higher state of awareness, which remains with me in the awakened state, which remains with me in the dream state, which remains with me in the deep sleep state. So, all three states lead to a state of awareness. And where do I go? I go outside the universe. My mind goes outside the universe. I travel outside the universe to reach Ishwara. Now, when my mind travels outside the universe and it travels multiple times when I'm chanting, what happens? You must remember our minds are like rubber bands. And when we keep on stretching it, they get stretched. So when I keep on exercising and when I keep on pulling my mind again and again through the state of the awareness, through the state of the dream sleep, through the awareness of the deep sleep, into beyond again and again and again and again and again and again, every day, every time I recite, what happens? My mind expands to that level. My mind becomes universal in capacity. My mind crosses the level of the universe also. So now my knowledge keeps on increasing. As I keep on practicing it, my knowledge, my awareness, my consciousness keeps on increasing. And as Gautam Buddha said, Gautam Buddha made a very interesting comment. After his enlightenment, after his sadhana of many years, when he became enlightened, there were many people around him who asked him, what have you learned? What is the biggest thing you learned on achieving enlightenment? Gautam Buddha was silent. He was silent for many days, they say. And after being silent for many, many days, people could not control themselves. So they went to him and appealed to him. They cajoled him. They requested him, please share with us. Please share what you have found. Please share what is your learning. And then Gautam Buddha finally told them, I become what I think. This is a very important statement. And in this statement lies the very secret of existence, the biggest secret of existence, the biggest secret of manifestation. You can manifest anything you want because you become what you think. So Gautam Buddha shared it. Now look at Patanjali. Patanjali says when you recite Om, Om is the symbol, Om represents Ishvara. You achieve those levels of consciousness which are nearly equal to the Ishvara. And then all knowledge dawns on you, all consciousness dawns on you, all awareness comes into you, and you actually become very close to Ishvara. You acquire divine powers, you acquire divine siddhis, you acquire mystical powers. You can even go beyond birth and death. You might not die. And the yogic philosophy, which follows the philosophy of Sankhya, simply says that we have a beginning which is beginningless, but we can have an end to this beginningless life. And what is that? What is the end we can have to this beginningless life? That is the most interesting part. And why is this beginningless? Because nobody knows where life began. Nobody knows. But what they know is each life form has a chitta. Chitta is a combination of intellect, ego, and mind. In Sanskrit, it is called a combination of buddhi, ahankara, and man. Now, this combination, this is the mind stuff, as some scholars call it. They call it the mind stuff because it's not simply the mind. It is other things attached with the mind. So this mind stuff is loosely translated as chitta. Now this chitta has a recording. It has a recording of all our past karmas. It has a recording of all that we have thought about, spoken about, and done. These recordings are called sanskaras. These recordings are always there in us. And all that we do in our day to day life comes out of these sanskaras. Now, then somebody asked a very intelligent and very interesting question. How did the first sanskara come? Who created that first sanskara? Who gave me that first sanskara? Was it God or did I create? Now, there is no answer to this question because nobody knows. Nobody was there to actually tell you who created the first sanskara. So, the answer which is normally given is it is beginningless. We do not know about the beginning. We do not know how the sanskaras actually came about, but they came about. There is a recording. There is something which comes along with us. It is stored in the chitta. And as per this philosophy, when a person dies, then something very simple happens. The chitta moves from one body and enters another body. So the chitta carries the record of the sanskaras, and the sanskaric records do not end. They go forward, they go to the next body. How does the chitta choose what body to go in for? This also is a very interesting thing which yoga says. It depends on the last thoughts which a person has. Krishna speaks about it at length in the Mahabharata. So, supposing at the time of death, you have a particular thought. So, based around that thought, you will you will move into a body which matches with that thought. And this is the way the chitta moves from body to body. This is the way the chitta chooses the body in the first place. And then in the next body again, the sanskaras are there from the earlier body. The same record is again transplanted. And from there, the journey again starts. Again, the karmas happen based on the sanskaras which are stored there. And if you do new karmas, then those karmas also get stored in the earlier sanskaras. And then it goes on. And once you again reach the end of that body, the body has a limited lifetime. The body will last for a limited number of days. Then the body has to give away. So when the time comes to give away that body, the chitta, again with its full record of sanskaras, moves, moves to the next body, depending on the last thought we entertained. So that is the way this cycle goes. It does not end. It keeps on moving forward and forward and forward. And it is beginningless. That means we do not know for how many years we have been traveling this way, body to body. It could be million years, it could be billion years, it could be trillion years, because it is beginningless. But the most interesting thing is they say it can end. Now, this is the most interesting part. They say it can end. So, Patanjali Yoga Sutras effectively is a method, is a means by which you learn how to control the sanskaras, how to control the formation of new sanskaras, how to remove the earlier sanskaras, how to stop the growth of further sanskaras, and how to become liberated from this journey of body to body to body, from the cycle of birth and death and birth and death and birth and so on. So, how does this happen? The methods which are given here are many. There are many interesting methods by which it can be done, and people have been doing it because, as I told you, it has been there from the time of Rig Veda. Rig Veda is about 7,000 years ago. And why Rig Veda? Because Rig Veda is the earliest form of recorded history which we have. So it could be 10,000 years old also. It could be 12,000 years old also. They are currently doing research on this. And there is, I think, a committee or a mission from the government which is looking at how this country was 12,000 years back. What was our civilization 12,000 years back? So that's a challenge because data is not available, but they are looking for it, they are scouting for it, they are trying to connect with other civilizations. So, probably, yes, something will be found. So, the point I'm trying to make is people of our country, yogis in particular, have been applying these methods. They have been bringing an end to the sanskaras they have had, and they have found a way by which new sanskaras can be stopped. And there can be some sanskaras which are some lifetimes old, could be two lifetimes back, could be 10 lifetimes back, could be 100 lifetimes back. So they have found a way by which the earlier sanskaras, earlier psychic impressions which we have, which is there inside our chitta, can be burnt. Now, why is it burnt? Why can't it be destroyed? Again, the interesting fact is whatever comes in this universe cannot be destroyed. I'm sure we have all heard in our school days, in our science classes, matter cannot be created or destroyed. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can change form. It can move from energy to matter and matter to energy, but it cannot destroy it. Similarly, says the yogic science, the sanskaras which are formed cannot be destroyed. You can burn them up. And when you burn them up, when the roots actually get burnt up, then birth again is not possible. And when birth again is not possible, then longevity is not possible. And when longevity is not possible, then those sanskaras cannot come out and enjoy, cannot come out and experience pain or sorrow. The sanskaras virtually end. They end their operational ability. They are burnt. So that is the most important thing here. The sanskaras have to be burnt. But since we started this conversation with Ishwara, so let us look at Ishwara again. Ishwara, as defined by Patanjali, has no sanskaras, zero sanskaras. Second, it has no karmas, no karmic account. Third, there are no karmas which can bear fruits because there have not been sanskaras, there have not been karmas, so there cannot be any karma which can bear a fruit in the future. That is not there. And it says they have no kleshas. Now, what are kleshas? Kleshas are obstacles to yoga, obstacles to reaching the infinite, obstacles to reaching the divine, obstacles to reaching the unlimited, obstacles to reaching the universal. Where are these? They are within us. The infinite is within us, as is the finite. The human is within us, as is the divine. The unlimited is within us, as is the limited. So, kleshas are those things in us which prevent us from reaching the unlimited in us. What are they? First is ignorance. We do not know who we are. We think we are the body mind combination. Whereas the fact is, we are not the body mind combination. We are far beyond the body and mind combination. Knowing and believing that we are the body mind combination is the cause of all our sorrow, all our pain, all our suffering. But the moment we start believing, realizing, feeling, acting that we are not the body and not the mind, but actually the spirit, the Atma, the soul, the Purusha, the term which Patanjali uses, which is used in Sankhya philosophy for the soul, for the Atma. Once we start realizing that, once we start believing that, once we get it into us, once this knowledge comes to us, real knowledge comes to us, and we are not acting out of ignorance of being the body and mind, we go through a transcendental change. We transform ourselves. Our sufferings of life go away. Our pain of life goes away. Our dukkha of life goes away. We become the seer. We become the drashta. We become the looker. We become the observer, and everything changes for us. Life enters a new level altogether, a level of peace and power. Because we are no longer considering ourselves a body and mind, the fluctuations of the mind, the variations of the mind, the ups and downs of the mind stop affecting us. The mind goes into peace. And a mind which goes into peace has tremendous power. It has the power of siddhis, it has the power of even converting nature from what it is to a different form. It acquires the power of manifesting whatever it desires. Now, coming back to Ishvara again, I was explaining to you what these kleshas are and why are they called the obstacles. Now, the Ishvara has none of these kleshas, none of these obstacles. He has no ignorance. He is clear. He is clear that he is infinite. He is clear that he is divine. He is clear that he is eternal. He is clear that he has all the power. He is clear that he is at peace. He has never gone through Prakriti. He has never gone through the universe. He has come directly. Now, what happens? This is where the magic happens. Once you start doing japa, once you start doing the practice of Ishvara, of listening to Om, chanting Om, then you are constantly telling yourself Ishvara, 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 Ishvara. And whatever Ishvara means, you are reflecting on that meaning. That Ishvara is eternal, Ishvara is out of this universe, it is not bound by the laws of nature. Ishvara has all the knowledge, and Ishvara is the universal teacher. And once you bring this into your mind, bring this into your head at a deeper level, consciously while you are chanting, it reaches your subconscious mind, it reaches your chitta, it becomes part of your memory recording, it becomes permanent inside you. And what becomes permanent inside you starts existing for you. If you remember what Gautam Buddha said, which I started at the beginning of this talk, I become what I think. So when you think of Om, when you hear Om, when you chant Om, when you understand the meaning of Om, when you understand the meaning of Ishvara, when you consider the Ishvara as the universal power beyond the universe, all knowing, eternal, then these qualities start coming in you. You start developing these qualities. Day in, day out, bit and bit, more and more, you start becoming the Ishvara. And when you start becoming the Ishvara, as I told you, magic happens. What is the magic which happens? Ishvara has no sanskaras. Ishvara has no karma. Ishvara has no klesha. So when you are thinking of the Ishvara and you are becoming like Ishvara, all your sanskaras start getting washed away. All your karmic accounts, old karmic accounts of past lives, they all start getting washed away. All your kleshas, all of them start getting washed away. So just by one simple step of your commitment to Ishvara, practicing his name, chanting Om, those powers come in you and all your past records get cleaned. All your past sanskaras get cleaned, all your past karmic accounts get cleaned, all your past kleshas get cleaned, all the past karmas which have to give fruit, they get cleaned. You have a clean slate. Now, who has a clean slate? God Himself, Ishwar Himself has a clean slate. So you are able to reproduce a clean slate like Ishwara. Now, Ishwara is all knowing, Ishwara is all powerful. So those qualities start showing up in you, and your life then starts taking up a new dimension altogether. This new dimension is the spiritual dimension. Earlier, we were considered as an entity with a physical dimension and a mental dimension, a body and a mind existing in a world of objects. But once, if you bring in the concept of Ishvara, once you start chanting Om with the meaning of Ishvara, then the quality of Ishvara starts getting imbibed in your subconscious mind, in your chitta. Your chitta starts developing that sanskara. And that sanskara becomes active, more active, and starts doing karma in your life. First of all, it cleans up everything. And then it gives you power in the real world outside. Then it gives you peace of mind in the real world outside. And this is an achievement which many people would love to have, but most of them do not know how to do it. So in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, the entire methodology is given out. But one of the key steps is Ishvara Pranidhana. What is Pranidhana? Pranidhana is commitment. So you must give your commitment to Ishvara. You must give your commitment to the God. God as defined by Patanjali. Not some God who is a Hindu God, who is a Muslim God, who is a Sikh God. No. Not a God who is a Shiva, a Krishna, a Rama. No. Not a God who is a creator of the universe. No. Because this is beginningless. It has always been there. So he has also always been there. And he has had all the knowledge, all the power, all the presence. And just by bringing him into my existence, just by chanting, he becomes real for me. Whatever is there in my chitta is actually taking form for us. Whatever is there in my chitta as sanskara becomes a karmic action for me. It will become something real for me. It will act out in the physical world, in the mental world. So if I start thinking as what Gautam Buddha said, a very interesting thing, I become what I think. So I can become anything. There is no limitation to my becoming. The only thing is, what am I thinking? So when I have to think to become what I want to become, then why think of something which is small? Why think of something which is bare minimum? Why think of something which is insignificant? Because if thinking is going to make me so, and thinking is completely under my control, then why can't I think of the biggest of the biggest? Why can't I think of Ishvara? And all that I have to think of Ishvara is to listen, to chant Om, one sound. And that sound makes me aware about the conscious world, the subconscious world, and the universal world. So why not? So that is the beauty of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras and his talking about Ishwara Pranidhana. So I'm sure that you will understand what I've taken the effort to explain to you here. And it is a very powerful thing. It can do wonders. It only needs to be applied. And it does not take much of time also. Okay? That is the magic of Ishvara Pranidhana, a commitment to Ishvara, as explained by Patanjali in his Yoga Sutras. Yeah. If you have any questions, then you may ask, or I will close the session here. Okay, so thank you for listening to me. And this talk was mainly on Patanjali's concept of Ishvara and his connecting it with the uh, symbol of Om, the sound of Om, and how it can create magic in our lives. Okay, it's a good question, Aditya. Chitta is the mind stuff, and it is a combination of the intellect, the ego, and the mind, all three put together. In Sanskrit or Hindi, it would be called a combination of buddhi, ahankar, and man. And this combination, this chitta, this it is also roughly translated as the mind also by people. So this mind has the recordings, mind has the memory. Soul or the purusha or the atma does not have memory. It is changeless. So what is changeless cannot record, but what is changing can record. So the mind stuff or the chitta or the mind for that matter can record. And that is where the information of the sanskaras is stored. And when we do some action, all action gets recorded. There is a record of each and every action each one of us performs or has ever performed, which is maintained there. It is eternally recorded. It is recorded right from beginningless times. It is always there. And it is because of this recording that we have to come again and again. Because unless this recording becomes zero, we will take birth again. So there are two ways of making this recording zero. One is that you allow this recording to play out. Silently be a watcher, don't do any action, new action, and whatever is recorded, it's turning into karma, allow it to turn into karma, into action, and allow it to play out. So once all karmas are over, you become liberated. That is one way. That is a difficult way because we do not know whether all the sanskaras of your past life will play out in this life. Some of them might play out in the next life also, or the life after that. So the second method which is used is a method of uh, stopping new sanskaras from being formed, at the same time burning up the old sanskaras, the earlier sanskaras. So when the old sanskaras get burnt up, the earlier sanskaras get burnt up, and there are no new sanskaras happening, then liberation happens. Then mukti happens, then freedom happens, then absolute independence happens. So that is the way these scriptures speak about it. Yeah.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, please go ahead.
अगर इतना भी इस जन्म में ही पता चल जाए कि ये है तो we can start the process now. towards getting liberated from the cycle of birth and rebirth, which is the whole essence all about.
My goodness. What's your name? Are you Anuchit
No,
or
Aditya.
Aditya? Okay, Aditya. You seem to be an enlightened soul. Yes, it can be done. It can be done in one life form, one lifetime. It can be done. And sensible people start on that journey.
Yeah, because बचपन से ये सुनते पढ़ते आ रहे हैं, but why not now? Why delay it? Under a
Yes, why not?
under guided guru or somebody, something.
Yes, yes. Beautiful. I mean, why not now? Yeah.
Because it is
I,
always now. जो होना है, it is now. Buddha got enlightenment now.
yes, yes. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, sir. Amazing insights. I've been lucky, though I have missed many, but this is my third session of you. So पहले मैं समझ रहा था, सुन रहा था, बीच में काफी पढ़ा मैंने. So I thought now I'll start interacting more.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Uh, mm, if you could share with me your number, I'll share you some other sessions which we do free of cost. So if you're a true seeker, then you can be there and gain knowledge and move on that path. It will help you.
Sure, sir. It is wonderful. And in fact, when I meditate, I ask many people, I go into thoughtlessness. Now,
Okay.
for me, chanting Om is like going back. I have experienced blankness. I have experienced out of body, floating around. But वो direction सा नहीं मिल रहा है कि what is this happening? So I'll just put in my number, sir, and we can connect separately.
या या मैं
But
आपको एक चीज और भी बोलता हूँ कि हैव यू रेड द पतंजलि योग सूत्रस?
yes, sir, I have read.
किसकी पढ़ी है आपने? किसकी कमेंट्री पढ़ी है?
That actually I don't remember, but now what you are saying is making sense because I have read it. So I can place some two and two together.
ओके ओके
I'm a beginner, classically guided वैसे. Otherwise haphazard तो बहुत पढ़ लिया life में. But अभी time
ओके
आ गया, ये thought आ रहा है कि why not now? Then what am I delaying it?
Yeah, I will then give you one more suggestion. Pick one path.
Okay, sir.
Pick one path and pick one scripture and whatever you pick one. Okay.
Okay.
Don't go into the multiple paths now. Just pick one, dedicate your life to it, and keep on walking. You initially the walk will be slow, then it will pick up speed, and then you will fly, and then you will be there. Okay, you will feel connected to the absolute source of knowledge. You will feel knowledge flows through you. It just comes. It just connects. You see, since you are at this level, then let me share further with you. Okay, when I say Ishwara is out of this universe, that means it is beyond nature, beyond Prakriti, beyond the laws of the universe. Okay, and it is eternal. Prakriti will come and go. Prakriti moves in cycles. Prakriti starts from nowhere, becomes big, and the whole thing collapses to a point, and then it again starts, again it collapses. So these are cycles of Prakriti. They keep on happening. They call it different names. They call it कि प्रलय हो गई, महाप्रलय हो गई, पूरा collapse हो गया, फिर start हुआ, फिर गया, फिर आया. That is the way Prakriti behaves because Prakriti has no choice. Prakriti is the changeable. Prakriti will keep on changing. Prakriti is the non-conscious, and we are the conscious entity. Now,
Correct.
now, this Ishvara has all the knowledge, and this Ishvara is the Guru. So when you start chanting him, believing in him, worshipping him, becoming, you see, Patanjali uses a very interesting word, commitment. Make a commitment to Ishvara that you are committed to him. He's not saying worship him, become a devotee to him, surrender to him. No. Ishvara Pranidhana is the term he uses. Pranidhana means commitment. So he says, become committed to Ishvara.
So
Now, when I become committed to Ishvara, and Ishvara knows I am committed to him, now he is the universal teacher. He has always been the teacher. He has always been the guru. So what happens is he starts sharing his knowledge with you. He starts showing you the path. He starts showing you your life. He starts showing you other people's lives. He starts showing you the purpose of your life. He starts showing you the destination to which the civilization will go. He starts showing you where it all will end. He starts showing you where it all began. And once when you're able to see the beginning and the end, and then you see it is all there, it is all in the now. Time is a human construct. Time is a construct of Prakriti. Time is not consciousness. Time has no consciousness.
Absolutely. It
Okay.
boils down to that, can we call it that decision, that nischay to do it,
What Nishya are you talking about?
of to take this decision to connect with the, not the creator God, but the intelligence wala God, Ishwar.
No, you see, again, the beauty is uh, only when it is there in your sanskaras, it will happen. Okay. And sanskaras will only make it happen for you when it is destined for you. When over your
Correct.
past thousands of lives, you have gone through that decision making process, action process, which has resulted in certain memories called sanskaras. And those memories, like artificial intelligence, is driving you and your mind.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That desire is very deep, because one thing I have realized, everything so-called Western psychology or whatever is restricted at mind level. बट देर इज माइंड में होगा जिसको हम लोग वो बोलते हैं मूविंग फ्रॉम द्वैत टू अद्वैत. इफ यू कनेक्ट विद दैट, देयर एक्चुअली लाइज द इंटेलिजेंस फ्रॉम वेयर कम्स इंट्यूशन. अदरवाइज दिस माइंड लेवल पे तो दुख सुख ये तो रोना गाना चलता ही रहेगा, बट द डिजायर टू गो बियॉन्ड इट, वेयर देर इज ओनली सो कॉल्ड आनंद ऑफ सच्चित आनंद, there is only bliss. I think that's what the meaning of Advait.
Let me warn you. Okay. You are looking at the whole thing intellectually.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. You are looking at it from the knowledge which you have picked up from the world.
Absolutely.
Don't do that.
हाँ, वो पढ़ के ये इतना तो पता चला कि ये होता है.
नहीं 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 नहीं.
Okay, okay.
Knowledge of the world is always limiting.
Absolutely. That I agree.
Okay. Yeah. So you have to use the knowledge of the world as a stepping stone into that domain where you have no idea.
Okay, actually you
And
have
one
now worded it very nicely. This is what I wanted to say कि ये पता चल गया, अब इसके beyond जाना है, ये तो सब गिरना है.
हाँ, अब जब आप इसके बियॉन्ड जाते हो तो यू आर मूविंग इनटू द अननोन.
Absolutely right.
And when you are moving into the unknown, you will see light.
Got it.
And when you see light, once you see that light, then that light will lead you to eternal light.
So
And
meditating on
then
Om can be a good beginning.
that is the only true beginning. I'll tell you something very, very stunning.
हाँ जी.
Okay. Om meditation has been here in this country for more than 7,000 years.
True.
Okay. And all the big yogis, all the big saints, all the big people who have walked this path are actually Om meditators. Even Vivekananda was a Om meditator. Even Shankaracharya was a Om meditator. And why that? Because you see, your meditation decides, your mantra decides what you are focusing on. So when you are focusing on multiple sounds are going in. But when you are focusing on one sound, then one sound is going in. So you are, as I told you initially, pick one, come down to as fine as possible. When you have to, you see, it is like a fighter plane. It has to break the sound barrier. So the structure must be such it can penetrate easily. Are
So
you getting me?
Om is also beyond, you can say, you are intending is beyond Mahamantras also. Om Namah Shivaya type जो करते हैं लोग, Hare Krishna
I am.
mantra.
Listen to me.
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
Om. just Om. When you pronounce Om, okay, you will find that the pressure is coming in from the nabi, from the navel, and the ending happens in the head, the center portion of the head. You just chant Om now, and then you will realize it. The ma ends up there, and the starts from the navel. It's Om. There's a resonating sound. There's a vibration happening on the top of the head, the center portion of the head, when you end the ma. Now that has been intentionally picked up. The air is sucked in from the nabi, and it like a bellow, and it goes up continuously and keeps on hitting the center of the head. Why the center of the head? Because the center of the head has the pineal gland, and the pineal gland is calcified. You have calcium deposits over it, because of which it is not opened up. It is not free. It is not independent. So when you bring this vibration there, slowly with that vibration, with time, that calcium which has been deposited breaks free into dust, and the gland becomes open and operational. And they say there is some connection between spirituality and the pineal gland. There are different versions of it. Different people
Correct.
have, in different civilizations, spoken differently about it. The Egyptian civilization, the Greek civilization, the Hindu civilization. So you will find a lot of references if you go to the net and search. But Om is that mantra which is straight away hitting it. And then the Upanishads, as I told you initially while making my talk, talks about a Uma. We have three states of awareness, three states in which a human being lives normally: the awakened state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. But there is a fourth state also, which happens in meditation, which is called the state of Turiya. Now, when you are reciting Om, so you go through these three states. And the fourth state, which is the silence between the two Oms, is the Turiya state, where you achieve a higher level of silence, higher level of connectivity.
Got
Are you
it.
getting me?
Yes,
Are you
yes,
getting
sir.
me? So it is scientifically designed.
Correct, correct.
If you are achieving, if you are aiming for the highest of the highest goal, then Om is the path. If you want to travel at the speed of sound, today you might have to get into a Concorde or into a fighter plane. But if you want to travel normally, you can take a cycle and travel.
Thank you, sir. Amazing insights. And I've shared my number, sir. I will like to know more about it.
Yeah, you can join our classes. I do once in the morning from 7 to 8, and another in the evening from 6 to 7. We are covering Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and we have come till Sutra 15. So there we are going slow. It's a 21-day session. Some 4 days have passed. So I'm sure you'll be able to pick up very fast. So it will give you some idea as to what it is all about, what is the knowledge of this country, and how we are missing out on it.
करेक्ट है उसमें तो कोई डाउट ही नहीं है वो तो
Mhm.
भंडार है ठीक है सर थैंक यू अमेजिंग इनसाइट्स
Actually, welcome. So we close this session. Thank you so much. God bless each one of you, and see you in the next session. Take care. Bye. Namaskar.